Alright, good morning. Here I am for my first vlog in a really long time, so let's get this underway. Oh yay, it's that time of the year again. I actually like the snow, I just don't like driving in it. I mean, I don't mind driving in it, but I prefer not to. Are strawberries your favorite kind of food? There we go.
They have
Now.
juice in them.
They have juice in them?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite fruit?
Yeah.
Say Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Strawberries, my girlfriend.
Strawberries your girlfriend?
Yeah. But you strawberry.
Are those good? You gonna give them a strawberry? Hey. Happy Thanksgiving from Maddie.
Okay, I gotta
Where's
get
the-
in here.
I gotta have
Sorry,
those.
you like it?
Alright.
Well, maybe
I'll have a piece.
You don't have a piece. We all have a piece. Unfortunately, we can't all have a piece because it's not ready yet. Kind of sucks. Just kidding. It'll be ready in like 5 minutes. I'm just an impatient prick.
Is it good?
fresh again. It's pretty good. Should have saved it for Christmas with the ham.
Oh my girlfriend. I know girlfriend.
You want a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
You getting lonely?
yeah.
Yeah.
She had turkey.
Of course, as you guys may or may not know, this would probably be my favorite section. I love DVDs.
Did you see any?
No. None that's a great enough deal to honestly, like, stand in line for, you know what I'm saying? How much did you guys manage to get the TV for again?
$193.
$193. That's not bad at all. Now, keep in mind, this is very different from my top 10 movies, my top 10 favorite movies, that is, and you'll see why in just a sec. These are basically movies that, you know, are special to me for one way or another, not necessarily meaning that they're good. They're good, and you'll see one of them that I absolutely hate, but I credit as one of the movies that I'm most thankful for. It just means that, you know, first, you know, maybe they they got me introduced to something. So let's go ahead and get into it. So at number 10 is X-Men. I absolutely love this movie. Love, love, love. But the reason I'm thankful for it is because this is actually probably what got me into superhero movies. Before this movie, I had watched a few, but this is probably my first, like, wow movie. This is like the Avengers before the Avengers were even the Avengers, or at least in film anyways. Obviously, they were in the comics by then. But, in film, I hadn't seen any sort of awesome team-up thing like this. And also Wolverine is awesome too. Hugh Jackman can never be replaced, at least in my opinion, or he can. I guess we'll find out. So yeah, number 10 is X-Men for movies I'm most thankful for. At number 9 is The Shining. This is what I credit for getting me into the horror genre. This is the first ever horror movie I ever watched. I know that for a fact. And this is definitely one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel, really good. If you've not seen Doctor Sleep and you like The Shining, go check it out. I mean, it's pretty divisive. Some people hate it, some people love it, but I loved it. And this is a really good movie. I absolutely love The Shining. And I credit this for getting me into the horror genre. So that's number 9. At number 8 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I credit this one for actually getting me into the fictional or the fantasy genre. This is like one of the first, magic, wizard, fantasy kind of movies I ever liked. I didn't really like, there's a lot I don't like, but there's a lot I do like about these movies. And I'm very happy that that I think my mom actually forced me to watch this. I actually originally did not want to watch this movie at all, but I'm glad she made me watch it because this actually turned out to be one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's my number 8. At number 7 for me is the Simpsons movie. Simpsons is my favorite show of all time. It also holds the most childhood memories for me. And so when they came out with a movie, I was definitely very excited. And this is probably one of my favorite movies when it first came out, just because I loved The Simpsons. And I remember when this first came out on DVD, I literally watched the absolute crap out of it. So the Simpsons movie at number 7. At number 6 is Avengers Endgame. This would probably be number 1 of my top 10 favorites. I'm so grateful for this movie because not only did it finish off the Infinity Saga perfectly, I mean, yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home technically finished it, but in my opinion, this is the end of the Infinity Saga. This movie is absolute perfection, and this is probably what solidified my opinion that Marvel is probably one of the greatest film studios of all time, at least in terms of continuous quality. But yeah, this is an absolute masterpiece. I just love this movie, but I'm grateful for it in the fact that it absolutely finished the 20 plus movie saga that had been going on perfectly. So that is my number 6. At number 5 is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I hate this movie. I absolutely hate this movie. I bought it simply for the purpose of I wanted to have all of the superhero movies. I'm a movie buff, so I want all the movies, and I'm trying to collect them all. So of course I purchased it, but yeah, it's still in its wrapping. So is Harry Potter though. So and a couple of other movies I own. So I can't really say, oh, it's in its wrapping. That's how good it is, because I tend to not like to unwrap my movies, but even if I was unwrapping, this would be the one I don't unwrap because I will probably never ever watch this film. But I'm grateful for this movie because this is actually what got me and probably my best friend Nether talking. We've been friends basically based off of this movie because this is like we were friends before that. Yeah, we were talking, but this is like what got us to like get really comfortable with talking to each other because we absolutely both hated this movie. And so I'm thankful for it in that way because it got me talking to one of my best friends. And so, yeah. At number 4 is Batman the movie. This is a really cheesy movie. This is a really, really cheesy. But this is definitely what got me introduced into DC. And this is what got me introduced to Batman, believe it or not. This is the first ever Batman movie I ever watched because my parents showed it to me. And Batman became my favorite superhero of all time, as you can see by my tattoo. There's a quote on my arm there, straight from the Dark Knight trilogy. And so, yeah, this is what got me introduced to Batman. I don't think this is in my top 10, obviously. It's a really corny movie, but I actually like this movie still. It's really corny, but yeah, I like it. And this is what got me introduced into the Batman and I think even into DC. I may have watched Superman before this, but I'm not 100% sure. But I definitely don't remember. I do remember watching this. So I'm definitely thankful for this. At number 3 is The Ring. The Ring, in my opinion, is the first ever true horror film I ever watched. The Shining is an absolute masterpiece, but it's really not that scary. This movie absolutely scared the living crap out of me. And to this day, this is probably one of the eeriest movies I have ever seen in my life. I absolutely love The Ring. Some people don't like it. I love it. And I'm very grateful for this movie because this is, first of all, it's PG-13. This is the first ever true horror movie I ever got to really watch. And this is an absolutely scary movie. And I credit this as the movie that truly got me as to be a horror buff. The Shining got me into horror, but this made me love horror. Like this made me obsessed with horror. So I absolutely love The Ring. Great acting all around. And I credit this as the reason why, I ended up watching things such as, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, etc. So The Ring, number 3. At number 2 is Spider-Man 2. This is definitely the first Spider-Man movie I ever watched. I'd watched the cartoons, but this is the first live-action one I ever saw. I watched the original one later on, of course, but I didn't watch. Oh my gosh! But I didn't watch that one in theaters. So I watched this one in theaters. So I don't really remember it because I was really really young, but I do remember that this is definitely what like got me interested in Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite parts of the MCU right now. So yeah, Spider-Man 2, very grateful for this movie. I have so many memories of watching this movie over and over and over again, even before I ever watched the original one. So at number one is the original Iron Man. This is what started my favorite all-time saga, the Infinity Saga. I am so grateful for this movie, and so yeah, this is definitely the best way they could have ever started it. Had this movie flopped, let's all be honest, the MCU would not be a thing. So I have nothing but to thank this movie for bringing to life all my favorite characters, and for bringing to life the best, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, some people won't agree, and that's fine. But in my opinion, the best all-time saga ever made. That includes some of the best superhero movies, and in my opinion, just movies in general. You know, I know Martin Scorsese recently made some comments saying Marvel's not real cinema. That's his opinion. He can say whatever he wants. That's fine with me. But I definitely think they're cinema. And this movie in particular and Endgame are absolute masterpieces. So, yeah, there are my top 10 movies that I'm grateful for. Let me go ahead and turn the camera back on me. So, yeah, sorry about the hair. I'm sure my hair is just an absolute mess. You're probably like, oh my God, who's that clown right there? But yeah, let me know what your top 10 favorite or top 10 movies that you're most thankful for are. Obviously, they probably wouldn't be the same as your top 10 favorites, but the top 10 movies, maybe got you introduced to something, or maybe brought you to your best friend, whatever you may call it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tyler Andrews. Bye.